Welcome back, everybody, to the 9th EBERSPÄCHER FIL Luge World Cup. The World Cup finals here in YANQING, China, which was the site of the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. You've just seen an incredible first run. Let's see our top 3 in this men's singles World Cup final. Here's Dominic Fischnaller, currently sitting in 3rd place. Fischnaller having a great run with a couple of mistakes in the bottom of the track. Yonas Mueller of Austria coming into 2nd place. And very, very tight between Mueller and Max Langenhan, our current leader and current World Cup leader. So what we have is Max Langenhan attempting to maintain his status as World Cup champion from last year, attempting to defend that title. He's on 616 points at the moment. The only person that can catch him is Nico Gleirscher, but Gleischer's back in 5th. And so that means that Max Langenhan just needs to finish this race where he is now in the top 7, and he can go home a World Cup champion. I'm joined by Lisa Schulte of Team Austria. Lisa, thanks for coming back to the booth. That was pretty entertaining.
That was a really exciting first run. Yonas really surprised me a bit with being that fast, but he's a great starter and great slider. And I'm excited to see what's happening in run number 2.
For sure. This track, I mean, there's nothing like it in the world. It's amazing. You tell us what your first impressions of this were when you first read it.
Yeah, it just looks like a dragon. It's really impressive. Also the outside, and then the curves are so different to what we are used to. And it's just really exciting to slide here.
Yeah, it's the curves, the profiles of the curves are slightly different to the rest of the world.
Yes, it's not like the curves we have in Europe or in the USA or anywhere else. They're kind of steep and really tall, which makes them also really different to slide, as we can see here now in this really nice video we've got here. It's a really steep start, going into 1. And then we have our first tricky point of the track in curve 2, where we've seen some people hit the roof already.
You don't expect contact that high up the track, do you?
No. Because you don't expect to be so high up in the curve in the first few curves.
So this track gathers speed quickly
through the first few curves, yes, but then you just maintain until the spiral, where you really start picking up speed. Until then, you're kind of still pacing at a low level of speed, I would say. And spiral is also just a really long, wide curve where you can have a lot of time to think about everything, basically. Before going into 13, which is probably the trickiest part of the track, I would say, after watching the races.
But an incredible section between 13 and finish.
Yes.
And the kind of thing our sport really needs. I mean, you're just guaranteed action down through that dragon's tail.
Yes, for every race. I don't think there was any race without any action there.
Yeah. That's true, and we saw plenty in the last race. Tucker West crashing there, of course. As we see our start list for the second run, Valentin Cretu getting us going from Romania. Rasmus Moberg, who we will talk about shortly when he goes down the track, who just surprised us all with an absolute scorchingly hot start, very close to the start record. And our top 3, Fischnaller, Mueller, and Langenhan. Langenhan trying to defend that World Cup title he won last year and get another crystal globe just like the one that was just on the screen to join on his mantelpiece. As we see a shot of the track there, this is through the finish curve, and coaches up at men's start doing the final preparations to the sleds. There's a lot that goes on in between runs, Lisa.
Yes, re-preparing your sled, maybe changing something if it didn't really work out, getting warm again, getting fit for the start again because it's really cold outside, and then just prepare mentally for the second run, and for some, the last run of the season.
Absolutely, the last run of the season here for Valentin Cretu of Romania. He had a tough first run. Had some big problems top and bottom in the track, but we know with Valentin that he's got so much experience that he could throw down a perfect run next run.
Yes, he could. I think it also seemed like he was a little bit skiddy in the first run, so maybe he changed something on his steels to be a bit safer, so I'm excited to see him slide again.
Sure, and that's what we were talking about regarding the the coaches and the athletes communicating between runs and maybe making a small change, having watched a bit of video and making improvements for the next run and adapting to the conditions. So, Valentin Cretu of Romania gets us going for run number 2. By the end of these 20 athletes, we're going to know who is the champion of the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup in men's singles. Valentin Cretu round these top curves.
Really high in 2 and skidding before 3.
So keep it together now, Valentin. This is where he has to be smooth, having made those minor mistakes at the top.
Nice transition there into 5.
Skiddy into 6, into the deep compression, comes out beautifully.
Yeah, really nice job there. And now going into 9. A bit too early, but I think it was still fine. It still looked like a soft entrance right there. And now going through Kreisel.
Nice Kreisel. Very flat through the middle of Kreisel. Into 12, quite a low line round 12. That may throw him across early. He gets away with it into 13. Taking a hit, and he's off. Can he get back on the sled? It's flipped him over twice now. Staying on the sled, trying to crash across the finish line in a sliding position. And he crosses the finish line. Big hit for Valentin Cretu. Looks like he's okay. Did incredibly well to keep his sled with him. But that was a big hit, and not a big hit on the left wall, Lisa.
Yes, I think that's what makes it more difficult, because you don't expect to get so much direction onto this wall, which just flips you so easily. And then hitting the wall there again, it looks like
and it looked
not
like
a nice
he
crash.
hit here and got flipped over again. Did a kind of a corkscrew.
Yes.
Okay, let's hope he's okay as we go back to Rasmus Moberg of Sweden, who, well, let's just let his start do the talking. Let's see if we get more of the same. 6 paddles. Let's see what we get.
51. No? Was it a 51?
Yeah, 51 start time. Not as fast as his first start, but still one of the fastest starts on the tour. So let's see how Rasmus goes through these top curves. See if he can carry that positive momentum he got down the start.
So far it looks like a smooth run, really high up there and a bit too early onto 6. Oh, and just tapping the wall slightly 2 times right there.
He handled that really well.
He did. A lot of other sleds would have broken out, but he did a good job staying confident on his sled.
Big bit loopy in the middle of Kreisel there. Managed to drop out straight down the middle.
Nice entry into 13. Let's see if he has also a nice exit right there. Yes, very good job. And
stretching out, great position on the sled as we've come to expect with this developing Swedish team. Rasmus Moberg, our leader, with a 59.678. Great sliding there from Rasmus Moberg. Great to see the Swedes back in contention and all over the World Cup.
Yes, it's really great. And him doing 6 pedals, I think he's the only one in this World Cup who does 6 pedals on the start. Looking so easy for him.
Well, that's the thing. If you're going to do 6 paddles, you've got to be able to settle really smoothly. And that's exactly what he did. He just went straight into his sled.
Yes, very impressive.
Rasmus Moberg looking pretty happy with that, as he should. Solid run from the Swede there. As we're going to move back to another veteran of the tour, Andrei Mandziy of Ukraine. Another very fast starter on this day, Andrei Mandziy. Powerful, powerful athlete. Just a 13,000th of a second cushion, though. So he's going to have to be faultless if he wants to keep his first place position at this point. Aggressive paddles, only 4 into the sled. Just 3,000 back from Moberg.
Spot nice 1 and 2 right there. For good transition into 3.
And straight into the green by 6,000ths of a second. Andrei Mandziy. Smooth through these top curves and really working on the position on the sled as well.
It's also a nice exit of 6 into 9.
That 6 to 9 transition was excellent, but that little hit before 10, that may cost Andrei Mandziy. Trying to keep it in the green. He goes around the prize ball. Transition to 12, looking good. How'd you like that entrance, that more later?
That was nice. I like the late entrances more. Oh, big problems out of 13 right there. The entrance was good though. He just didn't have enough height at the end of the curve.
So Andre Mandziy into first place as Rasmus Moberg offers him his congratulations and into first place by 0.4 of a second. And you see this mistake just before 10. It's been a bit of a theme this week. A lot of mistakes.
It's really hard to have a clean exit out of 9. A lot of people have problems there, and I think it's all in the entry of 9. But you have the compression before, so it's really hard to get a nice entrance into 9.
Yeah, that 9 curve 6 also becoming a bit of a banana skin for our sliders and giving them problems. As Alex Ferlazzo of Australia takes to the start. Alex Ferlazzo will be disappointed with that first run. This is a man who knows that his rightful place is somewhere around the top 6 in most World Cups. So he'll be looking to do something a little bit different to what he did on his first run. Another very aggressive starter, Alex Ferlazzo, and straight into the lead. He's got a good half-a-second cushion over Mandziy, quite high there.
And really early out of 2. But he managed it into 3 and is back on line right now.
Looks like a much better run for Ferlazzo through these top curves.
It's really nice exit.
Last time Alex Ferlazzo was here was 3 years ago during the Olympics. And he's just losing a little bit of time. Let's see after the Kreisel, because that will be the telling split time. But right now he's got 0.4 of a second.
And if he's having a clean run, he's going to build on it because Mandziy had a bit of problems up there.
And there you go, Lisa.
7/10.
Absolutely 0.7 of a second.
And again, some problems out of 13.
Looks, he made a better job of it than his first run, though, I think. And a second into the lead. Ferlazzo, that should keep him in the leader box for a few sleds. Alex Ferlazzo into first place with a combined time of 1:57.389 and a 1 second gap. Very close to that top of curve. But again, getting away with it.
Yes, really late entrance here. But doing a good job correcting it. And also here, much better job than in the run before. He had to drop his feet, but there was almost no skid, so it shouldn't cost him that much on a straightaway.
Yeah, it was, even though he dropped his feet,
Last
it looked like quite
season.
a gentle correction with
See you next season, guys.
So Alex Ferlazzo, our new leader. Masaki Toshiro, the Japanese coach, taking his sled for him. As Mateusz Sokovic of Poland, another very strong, powerful athlete, is our next athlete on the start. .251 start time. Third fastest start time we've seen so far from Sokovic, but very close to that wood. Looks like he's just twisting his body away from curve 2 and manages to get it back.
And now he's in the red. That tap on the roof might cost him some time.
Looks like it, Lisa, as he comes out of 6, still in the red. And this 1:34 split is going to be very telling, and it's almost certainly going to be not an improvement with that big hit before 10.
Yeah, that will cost him so much time, especially into this long curve, into the spiral. It will just be more and more time he's losing from now on.
Half a second back now. Sokovic trying to cut down that deficit with a good exit 13, a great dragon's tail, saving the best for last. Mateusz Sokovic into second place, 59.357. Well, he pulled it back at the start, at the finish, didn't he? I mean, that 13 transition was definitely one of the better ones we've seen.
It was really smooth, but that right there, touching the roof in 2, it just cost you some time already, and then really early entrance, hitting the wall before 10 and the big skid.
Yeah, that will have cost him dearly. But Sokovic, another athlete who was very unwell at the beginning of the week with this virus that was doing the rounds. So Sokovic into second place behind Ferlazzo, and Mandziy in third with Rasmus Moberg of Sweden in 4th. Germany's David Nössler nursing that left foot injury. Had a great well, had a incredibly entertaining run for the spectators in the team relay in Whistler,
yes.
where he hit the sides of the track, got thrown up in the air, and tried to hit the touchpad with his foot, showing so much commitment.
Yeah, he really gave him its best shot, but it was just too much out of 16 at Whistler.
Yeah. 6 thousandths of a second back. But look, he's closing that gap. He started back at 500ths of a second back, still in the red and back into the red by 600ths.
Yes, and it sounded like a bit of a skid into 6. But it's a nice line. 11 to spiral. Oh, 10 to spiral, sorry.
Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it? Very early, right on the limit. It worked out.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It looked really smooth. Also right here, 12 to 13. A bit too early again.
Let's see what he makes of the exit. This is where it all counts. And he does a great job of that. Rounds the finish curve. Just getting picked up a little bit on the exit. Into second place behind Alex Ferlazzo by half a second. Alex Ferlazzo still in the leader box, trying to break into the top 15, which he almost certainly will.
Yes, he had a really good second run, except that exit of 13 was a bit insecure. So
let's look at this exit from Nosler. Let's see if we can see the next camera shot. We don't get to see it, but he managed to stick the landing. David Nosler into second place. Alex Ferlazzo in the leader box as we prepare to welcome Anton Dukach of Ukraine to this beautiful track here in YANQING, China, the World Cup finals. Dukach putting down a great second half of the run, but made some big mistakes in his first run in the top. So if he can tidy those up, we could be looking at another very solid run from the Ukrainian.
He's had a really good season so far, so I think he wants more than the place he's in right now.
Pre-steer into curve 1. One of the better lines I think we've seen from 2 and 3 so far.
That was nice. Also nice transition to 3, no skidding.
Anton Dukach looking smooth here, a little bit of a wobble there, but nothing too bad. 5 to 6 transition. This is where it gets critical, this exit of 6. And again, sticks the landing through that big, deep compression in the track where it then goes uphill. But he's slipped into the red, so he needs to have a perfect Kreisel and then just make that bottom section count. Let's see what this 146 split's going to tell us. This is going to be crucial. Back by a 10th. Little skid there, just gets up onto the wall, drops down, crossing the finish line, into second place behind Ferlazzo. Ferlazzo gets another, and Dukach back into second place by 0.3 of a second. Wow, that was a fast run from Ferlazzo.
That was. It really showed what he's capable of.
Yeah, and I think that what do we talk about? The continuity on this track and being consistent is so important. And two runs like that for Ferlazzo would be a very different story.
Yes.
And still making mistakes through the Dragon's Tail on both those runs, Alex Ferlazzo, which just shows how much speed he carried through the top.
Yes, and also how difficult the track is to have like 2 perfect runs here. It's almost impossible, I want to say.
Anton Dukach ready to go home now, into second place at the moment. As Kaspars Rinks of Latvia currently sitting in 13th place. Just very close to that left wall. That's not going to give him optimal entrance into start curve, so he's going to have to work quite hard here. Quite high, but manages to get a good transition.
Yeah, he did a good job correcting that. A little skid into 4 now, if I heard correctly, and quite early into 5. Really high.
Really high in 5, the highest we've seen so far from the Latvian.
But good job out of 6. And now quite early into 10, but good job correcting that one as well.
Really letting the sled run through those top curves.
Yes, yes. I feel like he has a lot of feeling for his sled.
Yes, and into the green. You said it, Lisa. He has a lot of feeling on this sled. Somehow he's moved into the green by 1/10 of a second, skidding, big skid through the Dragon's Tail. Ice flying everywhere as he goes round the finish curve and stretching out across the finish line. Dropping back by 2/10 of a second, was so close to being a new leader. But Ferlazzo gets another scalp as Kristers Rinks of Latvia drops into second place. Whew.
Yeah, it was such a good run until then,
It
but
really was.
was just a big power skid again out of 13. He was quite high there, but it was a really good exit out of 2, so I think it's just fine.
Kept his cool, didn't he? And that was a big correction he had to do there. But look at that, sled going almost fully sideways.
It's the exact same picture as we got in the first run from Kristers Rinks.
It absolutely is. So Kristers Rinks not quite getting to grips with the Dragon's Tail this week, but he's young, he's incredibly talented, and he'll be back for more in a couple of years when the Tour no doubt returns here. As Svante Kohala of Sweden takes to the track with another big start, 2:57 start from Kohala, and 2/10 in the lead at this very early point. Just tapping, hitting the limit start there. Trying to get the sled under control, and Lisa, when the ice is this hard, you make those mistakes, and it's so difficult to get it back, isn't it?
It's really hard to get back control right there. That just cost him so much time.
Oh.
Such a big skid into 3, and now it's just also out of 6, some problems.
8/10 of a second at this point, that mistake cost Svante Kohala. So Svante, keep it together around the Kreisel and show us what you can do through the bottom section of the track. Last run of the season for Svante. Let's finish it strong. We moved to 13, a little early to 13, but beautiful roll in. And
Nice
just
exit.
a beautiful exit, Lisa. Yeah.
Very, very nice.
So Svante Kohala dropping into 8th on the second run, back by 2 seconds. Really a mistake he couldn't come back from out of Kreisel. But the rest of it, Lisa, what do you think of that?
After that mistake, which we now see again, it was just really early out of that 2, going really hitting the wall before 3, a big skid. After that, of course, he lost some speed there, and maybe some little struggles out of 6, but exit 13 was really, really nice right there.
Looking really relaxed on the sled and keeping his form as he always does. I've been so impressed with Tova's form in the women's field, Svante's form here, just keeping that long, stretched out position even when things aren't going optimal.
Yes, yes, which is really important to get back in control of the sled as well.
So Leon Felderer currently sitting in 11th place, representing Italy. Just to the left there. He's got almost a 4/10 of a second cushion over Ferlazzo, so Felderer's to lose here. Looks like he left his start at the last minute. I saw that little glance up to the start, and it looked like, oh, I've got to get my skates on here.
Yes. It was a bit wobbly at the start, going really far to the left side. But since then, his run looks really clean. Really nice position right there.
Sliding from Leon Felderer, the current athletes representative on the executive board of the FIL, which shows the high regard his peer group hold him in. He's still in the green. Putting down a great run here, but into 12. And that beautiful.
Yes. I just don't know where this mistake just came from, because the spiral looked just fine. But he's doing a good job, and I think he'll stay in the green into the finish.
Crossing the finish line, we've got a new leader. Leon Felderer into first place by 1/4 of a second.
Really nice run, except of that exit of spiral right there when he hit the wall. Going really late into 12, which maybe we will see, or not.
Yeah, that.
Oh, right there.
Oh, here we go.
He was too early out of the spiral setting on the far right side. And I don't know if he wanted to steer to 12 or what exactly
So
happened
you think
there.
maybe a little correction on the flat where there was no pressure on the sled?
Maybe, I'm not sure. It's too far away to really see what happened there.
But Felderer, big smile on his face, into the top spot in the leaders box. As Gints Berzins of Latvia in 10th position. We are now into the top 10, Luge fans. And in 10 sleds, we're going to know who the overall champion of the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup is this season.
Not a great start time for Gints. A nice 2 to 3 transition right there.
Very flat curve 3.
Yes, and it almost skidded out of 3, but I think it was just fine.
Keeping it pretty stable here and gaining time as we go down that tricky curve 6 to curve 9 transition, not catching Gints Berzins out.
Yes, really nice lines there.
Berzins going around this long horizon, transitioning to 12 smoothly. Very early to 13. That is going to cost Gints Berzins.
But really good correction in 13. Really good exit, and now crossing the finish line, still in the green.
Berzins into the lead. I was not expecting that with that big hit before 13, which just, as you say, just shows what a fantastic correction he did.
Yes, there was almost, it was a hit before 13, but there was no skidding whatsoever into 13, which maybe didn't cost him too much time. But now, oh, okay, there was some skidding. I couldn't see that before. But now here, he's back on, like,
yeah, just
on the line.
Slamming the shoulders back to stabilize the sled, it looked like. Gints Berzins with a very well-deserved first place so far, keeping his 10th place position.
Yeah, he could have been way faster probably without that hit before 13.
Yeah, it was a big one. It got a little bit of air. Not as much as we saw last week in Pyeongchang, though.
That's true.
Okay, so 9th position. This is Timon Grancagnolo of Team Germany. The youngest member of the team? Or is David younger?
No, I think he's the youngest one. And it's just his 4th run here on the track, I would say. I think he said that before. So
yeah, fair play. In the top 10 with three training runs on the track, that is incredible. His brother, Timon Grancagnolo, also a slider on youth A. So sliding seems to be in the blood in this family. Grancagnolo not losing too much time here. He's just back by 600ths. He's now stretched that, being back by a 10th. But a solid 6 transition.
yes, that was nice. He had a few little mistakes in the upper part, but now really found a nice line here into the spiral.
Spiral takes such a long time. It gives the athletes time to re-evaluate and get ready and prepare for this tricky bottom section of the track.
And now he's really gaining time on Berzins and back in the green. Also because Berzins had a big hit before 13.
Timon Grancagnolo keeps his first place position. Our new leader into the leader's box by over a quarter of a second to Gints Berzins. Big, aggressive start. And a very, very solid run.
Yes, he was just a bit too early into 3. I think the rest was just fine.
Well, I've got to say, for three training runs, he seems to have this track down. So I hope he writes down his lines for next time when he comes back here, because it seems like he's got it all figured out. Timon Grancagnolo showing that the youth of German Luge are in incredibly good health, and that the future of German Luge seems to be in very, very safe hands as we move to someone who used to be the future of Latvian Luge when he was Youth Olympic champion, is now the present of Latvian Olympic Luge, Kristers Aparjods.
A bit wobbly laying down there on the start.
Very stable slider, Aparjods, so I find. He's a big man, you know, he's big and strong. And when he gets in that sled, it really sticks.
Yes, that's true. He usually has really nice lines down the track. Good position on the sled right there as well.
Very nice transition. 5 to 6. 6 again. Risking it all there. Aparjods with a blind exit from curve 6.
really good lines into spiral, where he can take a little bit of a breather before going into 12 and 13.
Yeah, that must be quite nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit of relax on this track.
Yeah, you're working the rest of the time. So 3.5 tenths in the lead, 131 kilometers an hour. We're going to see a new leader as Aparjods crosses the finish line by almost half a second. Kristers Aparjods into first place, knocking Timon Grancagnolo off the top spot. I think he may stay there for a couple of runs.
Yeah, we will see. I think it's almost the same time as in the first run. Very consistent sliding.
And it's pretty tight between him and Wolfie Kindl, just 500ths in it. Putting the pressure on the rest of the field, Kristers Aparjods, and look at that position. If you're watching from home and it's your first time seeing luge, that is how you make these sleds aerodynamic. Point the toes, put the head back. There's more to it than that, but those are two of the key points to make yourself cut through the air as efficiently as possible. As Wolfgang Kindl of Austria, the man of the weekend last weekend in Pyeongchang, where he walked home with 3 gold medals, now takes to the start. As we get to our top 6.
He has a really busy day in the office today, Wolfie. 3 races in one day, it's a lot. But if someone can do it, it's Wolfie, so let's see what he can show us.
And into the green, Wolfie Kindl very early though, into 5.
I think it was...
Is that 3?
I think it was 3.
3,
yes.
Sorry,
now into 5.
Very nicely into 5.
Now we got it. Oh, that was...
What a correction from Wolfie Kindl.
That was crazy. He almost really hit the wall, but he did such a great job correcting it. But he's just losing time because it's still not taking the energy into the right direction there.
Still in the green for now, but back into the red on the exit of the Kreisel. But only 24 thousandths in it. Kindl's got to find some speed from somewhere. It's flat through here, and now it goes uphill, so he's going to struggle to find it here. But if anyone can do it, Wolfie Kindl can, and he drops into second place, just 600ths back, leaving Aparjods climbing up a spot into the top 6. That exit 6 from Kindl, I mean, that's feeling, I think. You can't teach that.
No, that's what his skills are. He's just, okay, that was 3, that was really early. That's when the problem starts, and he was so high in 6 so early. And he did such a good job correcting it, even though there's no pressure at all at this point.
Even that little counterweight with the left leg just moving off the rhythm. It's like a full body correction, but incredibly gentle, so the sled doesn't break away.
Yes.
So another Austrian, Nico Gleirscher, came into this race as the only man that could knock Max Langenhan off the top spot in the World Cup standings. He's got his work cut out now, sitting back in 6th place. Doing everything right at this point on the track. That's a little skid out of the
Really late into 4 right there.
But finding time all the way down this track. Look at the mini-map, look at the numbers in the green and multiplying down the track.
Yes, he's really going to give it his all for the last chance to fight Max right here.
Exactly.
For the overall World Cup.
Nico Gleirscher doing everything he can here, and it seems to be like he is doing everything right because the time is still in the green for Gleirscher. Smooth transition to 13.
It's a really nice line right there. A bit skiddy, but he did a really good job out of 13.
Little controlled skid through the Dragon's Tail, but he does enough. Nico Gleirscher hangs on to his 1st place position by 1/4 of a second, almost over Kristers Aparjods. Very, very impressive there from Nico Gleirscher. And if he's not putting the pressure on Max Langenhan, he's certainly putting the pressure on the next man to go, which is Felix Loch.
Yes, it's been a really close race between them.
Yeah, just less than 400ths in it. This is that little power slide you were talking about.
He was a bit insecure, just putting up his head a little bit, but then it was all fine and he could lay back again. And he seems really happy. He's really happy with his season so far, and he can be. It's a really strong season he showed us.
Incredible. And well-deserved. Felix Loch of Germany. Here he goes, had a great race last week in Pyeongchang, had a great race in Whistler. And Felix Loch, starting to look like the Felix Loch of old. Like he never really... Just
big skid
through there.
Big skid through 3. He wanted to avoid hitting the wall, steering too hard, and just started skidding. That just cost so much time up there.
Another skid there into 5 and 6, looking okay though. Felix Loch obviously risking it all, dropping out very early as well, out of 11, 10.
Already 2/10 back.
Yeah, unfortunately Felix cannot come back from this. Lost too much time from the top part of the track. But let's see how he handles corner 13 and the Dragon's Tail. And as you would expect, Felix Loch lays one down for the last run of the season, down the Dragon's Tail, crossing the finish line to 4th place, which means Nico Gleirscher picks up another spot. Nico Gleirscher moving into 5th place now. Very solid run from Gleirscher, as we expected. Really put the pressure on the next man to go, which was Felix Loch. Felix just making those mistakes at the top. Looked, again, beautiful through the bottom section, but this...
As you can see, it was too early to 3. He wanted to hold it from 3 and just started skidding. The rest of the run, you can't say much about it, but he lost speed and time up there. And he knows it. You know it well sliding. You just know you just lost so much time.
So Felix Loch planning the trip back to Berchtesgaden, his final run of the year. Although I'm sure he's going to be doing some testing somewhere in the world. As David Gleirscher from Austria is our next athlete. 2018 Olympic champion. David Gleirscher straight into the green with a 2:55 start. That's a solid start time from Gleirscher. And David's had a good season.
David has a good season as well. And now it's just a fight between the 2 brothers right there, which is always exciting to watch. But so far he's having a clean run.
Absolutely, it's a family affair here. But Gleirscher losing. David losing a little bit of time through here, but not much, losing thousands.
Now gaining a bit again right there into the spiral.
This is going to come down to the wire.
Really early into 12 right there. Really gained some time on Nico right there with a clean exit of 13, which he managed just fine.
Crossing the finish line, David Gleirscher, we have a new leader by almost 2/10 of a second. Two-tenths of a second over his brother, Nico Gleirscher. Great sliding from David Gleirscher there. It was honours even in the top of the track, but then he put on the afterburners after Kreisel.
Yes, he did. Really early into 12, but having still the soft entry you want. And also out of 13, he made it a really close call with the wall right there. But really kept his cool. Did a good job there.
So David Gleirscher, Nico Gleirscher and Aparjods, your top 3 at the moment, but going into our final 3 athletes. Here goes Dominic Fischnaller of Italy. Just 0.03 of a second to play with. Big, powerful start, beautiful settle.
Really nice.
Taking the sled straight down the middle of the ramp, exactly where he needed to be. It's Dominic Fischnaller, but uncharacteristically high in curve 2.
But nice transition to 3, so it shouldn't cost him too much time right there.
This is looking very tidy from Dominic Fischnaller from the top curves. And he's up by 0.08 of a second. 6 to 9 transition, looking very clean. And also one of the better curve 10s we've seen.
Yeah, really nice. He just lost 100 to David, so I think David was really fast in the lower part of the track. So we will now see into 13 how much he is left. Still 500s to work with.
Fischnaller having to be faultless here, manages to pull back that mistake, but has he done enough? Crossing the finish line into second place behind David Gleirscher. That puts David Gleirscher on the podium, gives him at least a bronze medal. As Dominic Fischnaller drops his head knowing that it was there for the taking. Huge explosive start we're seeing there of Fischnaller. Did everything right through the top.
Really high in curve 2.
Really high, not hitting the roof like some of the others, and that looked a bit skiddy there as well out of curve 10.
Yes, he was really early out of 10, and there's this skid, which maybe just have cost him the podium.
Oh, so hard lines there for Dominic Fischnaller, but fortuitous for David Gleirscher as he gets a very well-deserved podium, guaranteed a bronze medal. Yonas Mueller now of Austria. 2 athletes left to go. Solid start from Mueller, 2:53.5. 8th fastest start time we've seen so far.
And also a solid time to work with. I think he has almost 3:10 ahead of David right now.
So when you've got that kind of cushion, what's your mindset? Are you still throwing down, trying to improve, or are you holding a bit back and playing it?
No, I think you still want to improve the mistakes you had in the first run. And second place is not first place, and he knows he's not far behind Max, so he's gonna give it his all.
Just
really late into spiral right there.
Looked like a skid into spiral there in the entrance as well. I think we saw some ice come up from the back of the sled.
Yes, that cost him a lot of time already there.
Okay, so 1.5 tenths to play with, skidding down the Dragon's Tail, but gets it back. I think he might have done enough. 131 kilometers an hour, and he has into first place Yonas Mueller. Guaranteed a silver medal, putting the pressure on Max Langenhan to the very end.
And he knew it was a close call.
That was an incredibly close call, especially with that mistake before Kreisel. Very few athletes we've seen have made those mistakes before Kreisel and stayed in the green all the way down.
And also out of 13.
He got that back nicely, didn't he? That skid just starts, but just kept his cool.
Really good job, yes.
That was a close one.
Those are the increments of time that we're playing with. One of the only Olympic sports times to the thousandths of a second. As our final athlete, Max Langenhan of Germany, the defending World Cup champion, the World Cup leader, now has to put down a consistent run to maintain his position as World Cup champion.
Nice line up there before. Nice transition into 3.
Max Langenhan putting on a masterclass in these top curves, stretching out, confident position on the sled. Little skiddy there. Just gaining time the whole way down. We've gone from 700s to 1400s.
Really nice transition into spiral as well. And now he's probably going to start to really build his advantage to Yonas because he had his mistake there.
13 transition up by 3400ths. This is going to be Langenhan's day. This is going to be Langenhan's World Cup title as Max Langenhan of Germany crosses the finish line into first place, defending his World Cup title from last year, the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup overall champion in men's singles is Max Langenhan. And the victor today in the World Cup final here in YANQING, China is also Max Langenhan.
Really, really strong performance today. He was in his own league.
Incredible stuff. and keeping his cool. I mean, he looks like he's just been for a walk in the park.
Yes, there's no emotional outbreak whatsoever after a win or anything with Max. He's just a really calm guy.
Yeah, how was that? Oh, it was normal.
Yes.
Okay.
Just winning a World Cup with half a second advantage. That's nice.
Look at that position, Lisa, going into Kreisel.
Really, really nice.
Absolutely perfect. And that shows confidence when it's all on the line. And so relaxed, you just see there, just absorbing all those bumps, and the German team celebrating. Incredible, incredible scenes here in YANQING, China, and Max Langenhan doing what he does best, winning crystal globes. It's a rather beautiful sled, isn't it?
A lot of fruits on there.
So there we have it. Max Langenhan in first, Yonas Mueller second, David Gleirscher a bronze medal, Dominic Fischnaller just dropping outside the medals, and Nico Gleirscher also having a great race. Kristers Aparjods riding the elevator up to 6th place. Ferlazzo, I think, rising 6 places during that second run. And Zhenju Bao of China, although not finishing, getting a second run for China, which is just so great to see. We're going to be coming up with the winner's presentation very shortly. Well, Lisa, I mean, we expected Langenhan to really throw down in this competition, but were you expecting it to be by that much?
I didn't think he would dominate the race so far, especially after watching the trainings. I think he also had a hard time getting back on this track, like everybody did, but winning this race with half a second, it's crazy. It's really, really impressive. Really good job.
So the circuit comes to an end for the men's singles. Some of these athletes, in fact most of them on the podium, are going to be back in action in about half an hour with team competition. But this will be their men's singles season over. As Claire Del Negro, Vice President of Sport for the FIL, 1984 Winter Olympian herself, hands out the prizes to the victorious athletes as Max Langenhan, Yonas Mueller, David Gleirscher stand on the top step of the podium together. Fantastic racing, Lisa. I mean, the Austrian program that you're a part of, just snapping at the heels of every dominant nation as well. I mean, just great season for Austria, I think.
Really good season for Austria. Let's hope we can finish it within a nice way in team relay today.
Lisa's going to be racing in the team relay later. How's this for a warm-up? A little bit of...
Really nice. I would have watched the race anyways, so it's nice I can talk during the race.
So there's the overall standing. Max Langenhan, our champion. Nico Gleirscher, second, and Felix Loch, third in the standings. And Yonas Mueller missing out on a crystal globe by 2 points for Austria.
Yes, even though Yonas didn't compete in Altenberg this year, so he didn't have all races.
The future's looking bright for these Austrian athletes, that's for sure. In fact, they are already the present. They're accomplished in their own right, but what a wonderful race from Langenhan. And David Gleirscher as well, climbing up from 4th place on the first run to the podium. As we see Ines Vergeles give Felix Loch his bronze crystal globe. David Gleirscher, silver crystal globe, but the gold crystal globe. The champion of the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup. Incredibly well deserved. A man that's had a wonderful season, Germany's Max Langenhan. Beautiful shot of these Joska crystal globes that the athletes fight for all season. And then just in a few minutes, we're going to have some interviews, hopefully, with Max. But yeah, Lisa, I mean, the track, it really hasn't disappointed, has it? It's been drama the whole way.
Yes, I think it's really entertaining to watch. And also to slide, it's a really fascinating track to learn and slide. It's so different from every other track on this world. And Yes, it was really fun to watch and commentate today.
Yeah, and I think when you're commentating a run like Max's, it's actually the hardest job in commentary because there's not a lot you can say apart from well done.
That's true. That's true.
Max Langenhan really putting down a faultless and fearless run. Keeping that perfect position from top to bottom. Dragon's Tail was exactly how it should be driven. And really Langenhan putting on a masterclass today on his way to the overall title. But his work here is not done. He's also got the team relay coming up.
Max, congratulations on winning the overall World Cup and also here in China. How do you feel after this season?
I'm super happy, especially with ending the race with these two perfect runs. I had like some little mistakes, but I'm super happy. And yeah, in the end, it was a super season. Got the world champs, and now it's also the overall, so I'm super stoked.
What are you looking most forward to after this season?
I think I'm looking most forward to seeing my girlfriend again and also my family, and then yeah, enjoying like the time at home is I think like the best to end all it. Thank you.
Great to see Max Langenhan realizing that there is more to life than luge. Looking forward to seeing his family, his girlfriend, and what a season that man's had. A number of podiums on the World Cup Tour. One in Lillehammer, one in Altenburg, one in Oberhof, and another one here today. As we see the shots of the track from today, just fantastic racing. We're coming back in 40 minutes time with the team relay. You cannot miss that, luge fans, because that is when this track is really going to show just how crazy this sport can get. Lisa Schultz joined me today. Lisa Schulter, you've been fantastic in here, but I'm so excited for you to be able to go out and race on this wonderful track one more time in the team relay. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
So, we will be seeing you in just about 40 minutes, so go make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a snack, and we'll be back for the team relay.